Hey everyone, how's it going? This is FixerMed, and welcome back to my high-yield biochemistry review series for the USMLE Step 1, NBME CBSE, and NBME CAS examinations. This will be part 10 of a multi-part video series detailing and describing the entire discipline of biochemistry in a high-yield but comprehensive manner. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started on today's content. Today we'll be covering glycogen storage diseases, and let's go ahead and start. First glycogen storage disease we're going to talk about is type 1 glycogen storage disease. This is known as von Gerke disease. The main enzyme deficiency found in von Gerke disease is regards to the glucose 6 phosphatase. It is associated with lactic acidosis. Also, common symptoms include hypoglycemia, jaundice, and hepatomegaly. Buzz sentence, buzzword you see in the vignette is super sick kid with glycogen storage disease. Basically, is the vignette. Think if you see that, think about von Gerke, think about all the deficiencies and symptoms associated with it. Moving on to type 2, Pompe disease. The main enzyme deficiency with Pompe is debranching alpha-1,4-glucosidase, known as lysosomal acid maltase. Is mainly seen with cardiomyopathy. That's the main giveaway for Pompe disease, but hepatomegaly is also a somewhat common symptom of Pompe disease in the questions I've seen. Next up, we have type 3 glycogen storage disease, known as Cori disease. The main enzyme deficiency with Cori disease is debranching alpha-1,6-glucosidase. There's no lactic acidosis. This is in contrast to von Gerke disease. We have a not-so-sick kid with glycogen storage disease that is seen in the vignette. For type 4 McArdle disease, we have the enzyme deficiency here being myophosphorylase, known as glycogen muscle phosphorylase. The patient is usually an adolescent or adult. You can see severe cramping or rhabdomyolysis after intense exercise, but normal serum lactate levels. And a fair warning, all glycogen storage diseases are autosomal recessive and present with hepatomegaly. Keep that in mind. So just because you see hepatomegaly doesn't mean you can eliminate some answer choices. And some easy questions in regards to glycogen storage disease revolve around its inheritance pattern, so keep that in mind. Let's move on to the questions. We have a 6-month-old boy that presents with an enlarged tongue, hypotonia, cardiomegaly, and a muscle biopsy showing increased glycogen. Which enzyme is most likely deficient in this patient? Alright, I'm going to move on. So if you need to pause the video now. Moving on. The presentation of an enlarged tongue, hypotonia, cardiomegaly, and an increased glycogen in the muscle biopsy is indicative of Pompe syndrome, a glycogen storage disease type 2. This disorder results from a deficiency of alpha-1,4-glucosidase, also known as lysosomal acid maltase. Therefore, the correct answer here is C, alpha-1,4-glucosidase, also known as lysosomal acid maltase. Let's go on and see why the other answer choices are incorrect. Alright, so the incorrect answer choices can be explained as follows. Glycogen synthase. This enzyme is responsible for synthesizing glycogen, not breaking it down. Glycogen phosphorylase. Glycogen phosphorylase is involved in glycogenolysis, not Pompe syndrome. It is characterized by the accumulation of glycogen, suggesting a defect in glycogen breakdown. D, amylo-1,6-glucosidase. This enzyme, also known as debranching enzyme, is not deficient in Pompe syndrome. Branching enzyme. A branching enzyme is involved in glycogen synthesis, not glycogen breakdown, as seen in Pompe syndrome. Moving on to the next question. We have a 3-year-old child that presents with muscle weakness, exercise intolerance, and myoglobinuria following strenuous physical activity. Laboratory tests reveal elevated creatine kinase levels. A muscle biopsy shows increased glycogen content. Which enzyme is most likely deficient in this patient? Alright, I think I gave you guys enough time. If you need more time, pause the video. If not, I'm moving on. The symptoms and elevated creatine kinase levels suggest McArdle disease, glycogen storage disease type 5, which is characterized by deficiency in myophosphorylase. This enzyme is crucial for glycogen breakdown in muscle tissue. Therefore, the correct answer is myophosphorylase, muscle glycogen phosphorylase. And also, I don't think McArdle is type 5. I think that's a type 4. So sorry for the typo there. But let's go ahead and move on and see why the other answer choices are incorrect. The incorrect answer choices can be explained as follows. A, glycogen synthase. Glycogen synthase is involved in glycogen synthesis, not its breakdown. B, glycogen phosphorylase. While glycogen phosphorylase is essential for glycogenolysis, McArdle disease involves a deficiency in myophosphorylase. D, debranching enzyme, amylo-1,6-glucosidase. Debranching enzyme is not deficient in McArdle disease. E, branching enzyme, amylo-1,4-1,6 transglycolysis. Branching enzyme is involved in glycogen synthesis, not its breakdown in muscle tissue. Let's go on to our final NBME application-based reasoning question. So we have a 5-year-old girl that presents with hepatomegaly, growth retardation, and fasting hypoglycemia. Laboratory tests reveal elevated lactate levels. A liver biopsy shows increased glycogen content with short outer branches. Which enzyme is most likely deficient in this patient? Alright, if you guys need more time, pause the video. If not, I'm moving on. Moving on now. The symptoms and liver biopsy findings are consistent with von Gerke disease, glycogen storage disease type 1, characterized by a deficiency in glucose 6-phosphatase. This enzyme is crucial for the release of free glucose from glycogen in the liver. Therefore, the correct answer is D, glucose 6-phosphatase. Let's go see why the other answer choices are incorrect. The incorrect answer choices can be explained as follows. A, glycogen synthase. Glycogen synthase is involved in glycogen synthesis, not its breakdown. B, glycogen phosphorylase. While glycogen phosphorylase is essential for glycogenolysis, von Gerke disease involves the deficiency in glucose 6-phosphatase. C, debranching enzyme, amylo-1,6-glucosidase. Debranching enzyme is not deficient in von Gerke disease. E, branching enzyme, amylo-1,4-1,6 transglycosilase. Branching enzyme is involved in glycogen synthesis, not its breakdown in the liver. That will cover our first part into covering enzymopathies with glycogen storage diseases. Next one we do will be lysosomal storage diseases. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. If not, this is FixerMed signing off. Please be sure to have a great day, and goodbye as always, guys.